Hey YouTube, Metal9. I'm gonna be doing a weekly segment now. Like, I've been seeing some other people's vids talking about like how YouTubers should be doing weekly segments. So we got like weekly content for you guys. So I think it's a really good idea. So I'm gonna be doing like something like on Wednesdays or around this time, where just talking about the game and like good tips to know and maybe like I don't know something. Just give me ideas, like shoot me PMs and let me know what you guys want to see on my Wednesday segments. So, yeah. The first one is going to be common misconceptions about this format and things you guys should know that the pros don't really want you to know. But yeah, it'll be very useful, especially for YCS Anaheim this Saturday. If you guys are going, I'm going. It's going to be a lot of people. I think it's going to be the biggest event probably ever, actually. Like, I know a ton of people are going. So, yeah. If you guys want to get like some really good pointers, you might want to listen to this. So, a couple updates first. One, I'm hooking up my Facebook account with my YouTube channel. So, if you guys want to add me on Facebook, the link will be in the description. Just when you send me a friend request, just say you're one of my subscribers, so I don't think you're some random stalker trying to add me. But yeah, just let me know that you're one of my subscribers, and we'll talk about Yu-Gi-Oh or trades or whatever you want to talk about. It's all good with me. So, onto the video. The number one misconception that people just don't realize is that they think life points don't matter at all. That is completely not true. Life points are important. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore my life points and be reckless with them. But I'll take all these hits and I'll go low, and if you want to push me, then I lose. That's what a lot of people are doing, and it's really not a good idea. Like, this is, if you go below the 2,000 mark, like, if they start out and they can get you below 2,000, this card is dead. If you draw this thing, like, after you go below 2,000, you just drew a really dead draw. So, that's very important to know because, like, yeah, you don't want to be too reckless with your life points, and, like, especially the good players, they know this too. If they can get you below that mark before you play Warning, then, yeah, they're in a pretty good spot, so they don't have to worry about that card. And number two is big pushes. Like, if they can whittle down your life points like with pokes and whatnot and get you to like a relatively mid-low account where they can make a big push to get you down for a game, they will. So you gotta be really, you gotta like know what you're playing against. You have to realize that depending on what deck they're running and what you're running and what the situation is right now, that you got to be careful because, like, if they see you're at, like, 3,000 and they can do a push on you, they will. So you got to be careful about that. And another point is, like, the safety zone. Like, if you are low, then you are low. So, like, no matter how much card advantage you have like 6 to their 1 and they true nade you, dark hole you or something like that and hit you for that little bit, it's game. So you have to be very careful about that. And all this said, like, do realize card advantage still is probably more important than life points. You shouldn't be like randomly setting cards just to like maybe save 1,000 life points a turn, but like do realize that life points do play a part of this game. Like, a lot of people say this doesn't matter at all. It really does. So yeah, that's point number one that you really should, especially for this format too, like against 6 Sabs, and how like they can start slow and then make a huge push, or they can just open up Shein first turn. It all depends on who went first and what your guys' hands are. So yeah, point number two is X deck is bad. Like, X isn't like random deck. Like, just because a deck isn't tier 1 doesn't mean you're not going to see it. Like, when you go to an event, locals, regionals, YCS, whatever, one, you should be ready for everything. I don't care if this deck is not tier 1. I don't care if there's not too many people running it. You should be ready for it because people play everything. There's always that random person playing that tier 2 deck that you're completely unprepared for, and it's a threat, Like, there's a reason they're running that deck still. Like, maybe it's not as consistent as it used to be, but like it could still open up good. You have to be ready for it. And like, good players can win with lower tier decks. Like, not everyone likes to run tier 1. Like, there's, like, me included. Like, I don't like tier 1 decks. I like playing tier 2. And I do really well with tier 2. That's just me. And, yeah, like, I know some very competent, like, Blackwing players. Like, yeah, this deck has gone down with Kalut going to 1, like not so many people running it anymore. But it doesn't matter. I know a few very good Blackwing players, and that will beat you. I don't care like how bad you think that deck is. It's still good. There's a few other decks you should be watching out for, like Gladiator Beasts. There are some very good GB players out there. They know how to work their deck, and they know how to play around your deck. Infernity, like, this deck is amazing. Like, yeah, it might suck against Gravekeepers, but they know what they're doing. They know they've been playing against this deck for a while. Like, they're really good Infernity players. So, yeah, they know what they're doing. And Lightsworn, I play Lightsworns, and I do really well with them. So I know what I'm doing. I know how to manipulate my deck just right. So yeah, you gotta watch out for these tier 2 decks. Like, they're really good still. And they have this going for them too. They have the surprise factor, which I was talking about earlier. Like, the surprise factor, you know, people aren't really devoting much side deck cards to them, aren't kind of forgot how to play around some of these older decks. Like, they're still good. Like, get a good player with any deck, like, you know, as long as they're comfortable with it, they'll do amazing. Like, yeah, that's point number 2. And point number 3, which is probably the biggest one, is a lot of people think if I have this card or this card with like one of the card set, I'm safe. That's totally not true. A lot of good players do read these cards that you have set, and they know how to play around them. Like, the biggest reason why that, like, if you're trying to make a push and just because you have Solemn, you think you're fine, this card is big. I'm telling you, people are running like doubles of this in the main. I'm playing 2 of this and everything right now, and I know a lot of people who are too. So, yeah, this card does absolutely nothing against Valor. Like, if you're trying to make a push, you're like, okay, I'll attack with my big push. Like, I got a Solemn set, I don't care what you have. Like, they still have Valor, you know. Valor is still an amazing card that can really stop plays. So, yeah, just because you have Solemn doesn't mean you're perfectly fine. And this card, too. This card is growing big right now, guys, I'm telling you. 7 Tools is amazing. Like, this card, if you can play this against a Solemn Judgment or Solemn Warning at the right time, you can pretty much win the game right then and there, because of all the sheer advantage you just made right there. People playing Solemn like it's a last resort card, but if you play 7 Tools, it's really good, because they might not have read that card, you know? So, 7 Tools is awesome. And the last thing about this is, like, the really good players, they know how to bait out your Solemn Warning and your Solemn Judgment. Like, they know how, like, depending on what they have in hand, like, they can probably bait it out with a Monster Reborn. Like, you see Reborn, like, oh, snap, Reborn, I better do something about that. They could bait it out, and then they can, like, do something else to you. They can, after that, they might just Trunade you, and Gateway, you know? They might do something crazy that you might not have seen coming. Like, there's some really good Samurai players who might just conserve their Gateway. Like, you don't have to play Gateway or United immediately. You can save those cards for the right time and devastate them because your opponent wasn't reading that you had those cards. So, yeah. That's just a few things that you guys might want to look out for, especially when you're going down to Anaheim this weekend. So, yeah, keep those tips in mind along with everything else you guys know about playing this game, and you'll do well, as long as you don't drop bad. But yeah, also, like, to wrap this up, I wanted to show a vid where you can see my face. So if you guys want to come up to me in Anaheim, I'm more than welcome to just chat, trade, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, do subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you guys want to see next Wednesday for the next segment. So yeah, peace out, YouTube.